All right. We are good to go. Welcome, friends. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Mighty Man Mondays, where we celebrate the mighty men who are impacting their communities in a positive way. Super excited to have Coach Cashe with us today. Now, since it is Martin Luther King Day, we wanted to kick off Mighty Man Monday celebrating a mighty man. So we're going to share our favorite quotes. Although Martin Luther King had so many quotes, I'm going to share two of my favorite ones, and then Coach Cashe will share as well. So my quotes that I'm going with, they're so, it has so much to do with what we're doing here today, celebrating Cashe and his journey. And so many of you out there who are dreamers. So Martin Luther King Jr. quote one, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
Keep
And
pushing. Yeah.
and the second one I want to share is faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the entire staircase. That's what this is about. We're celebrating Martin Luther King's legacy. He took that first step. He continued to move nonstop. He didn't stop. The men and women who make history are those that continue to go regardless of what gets in their way. They continue to press on and so make history and impact so thousands and thousands of people. To this day, he's still impacting us. So your turn, Coach.
All right. So one of my favorite quotes of from Martin Luther King is, of course, the free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last, and that is very inspirational to me right there because it just shows that we have the freedom in this world. We want equal rights. Makes sense, and so that stands out the most. Another one that stands out the most is I was just looking at it is our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. That's a strong message, especially, what we're going on in today's world with, Black Lives Matter and how, with this, we still embracing the movement, and so, and that's right there. It speaks volume.
Yes,
So, yeah.
definitely. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing. And friends, if you want to share on the comments, share your favorite Martin Luther King quotes as well. And so now let's get started.
Yeah.
So a little bit about Coach Cashe. He's been a personal trainer for 6 years. He has a series of different certifications, which he'll talk about later. The reason, one of the
seven
many
years, matter of
reasons.
fact. 7 years.
Oh, 7 years.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
7 years.
7 years. Yeah.
One of the many reasons why he inspires me is because he continues to go. I mean, he's always showing up, regardless whether it's raining, shining, he's showing up. He's so focused on enriching the lives of others through health and fitness, his determination, his drive. He's relentless in the pursuit of making a difference in his community. And that he does every week. He has a series of group trainings. We met because I wanted to attend one of his trainings in Stone Mountain. He's out of Atlanta, Georgia. And he was doing a training in Stone Mountain. I wanted to attend. I was excited and everything. And then I realized I had to work. And so I wasn't able to attend. I'm glad that I made the connection because ever since that connection, I'm always checking out his page and he truly inspires me. And it's amazing to see how he's impacting his community. So, Coach Cashe, welcome to Mighty Man Mondays. And thank you for being here. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, let's kick off with the first question. So, what inspired you to get into fitness?
Um, my health and my life, only because that, it matters no matter what. I've always been very health conscious with my health, my life growing up as a kid and knowing that, just dealing with to see on my mom's side of the family, they deal with health chronicles and health situations. And so for me, I want to beat the odds and beat that 1% to overcome those odds. And so one of those things that I wanted to do is, I've always had a passion to be a humanitarian, to help others, guide others to the right path. And that's still my job to this day. And I'm truly, truly passionate about it. It's like, whenever you have a dream, just like, you have a dream about you wanted to have your own, you want to host your own show, your talk show, and you just passionate about that. That same thing with fitness. I'm passionate about that as well too. And so it's just that the thing about it is, I had to set myself to that goal. So therefore I can go ahead and just keep pushing, You gotta stay focused. That's basically what it is. So, I exercise to live as much as I live to exercise. Make sense? So
That makes perfect sense. I love
yeah,
that.
right.
Now, during our pre-interview, you shared with me that you were going through a really dark time in your life. And that
Yes.
really, in addition to not wanting to follow with the health conditions that your family was experiencing, and in addition to that, you said you're going through a dark time. Can you share with us that time and how you got out of it, how you overcame that?
Um, okay. So basically, during those times, I, I had a, situation that I was a high school basketball star, and I lost my basketball scholarship due to some unfortunate current events that happened. I can say it played a major role in my life that, basketball's always been my sport. That was my meal ticket, my getaway card to, from poverty, what I was grew up in. And so after dealing with that, after, all those, things that happened, I had to try to figure out what is my next move, what is my next step, because, being young, being a minor, being, in the 18, being the teens and the 20s, you're really a huge target from society, especially the world that we live in right now. And so, I didn't have a father figure that was able to guide me into the right path. And so basically I had to try to figure things out. My mother's been a single parent pretty much all her life. My father, he had pretty much abandoned me at age 7. I never heard or saw him ever since. But, things happen, so I can't dwell in the past or whatever. I have to continue to keep moving forward. I have to, because, I have a daughter. She's 5 years old, the most beautiful thing in the world. And,
Oh,
I want to give her something that my father couldn't give to me, if that makes sense. And so,
yes.
yeah. And so, I would say for me, I started personal training at I want to say that late 2013. And so I was about 22 years old at the time. And at that age, you're still trying to figure things out. You're still trying to figure out, things in life. What do you want to do? Where you want to grow up? Everybody's always talking about in high school that, okay, what you want to do when you grow up, you have to have a plan. There's some folks
Hmm.
that's, in their 20s, and there's some folks still in their 30s, still trying to figure out what they want to do with their life. And it's like, for me, I felt like out at that time. I felt like time was ticking. I feel like I'm being pressured. I have to try to figure something that would actually make sense. And so, people were saying that, well, a certain, closed person was like, hey, you should try to be like a spokesman or be like a motivator, because you're very good at talking to people. You're very good at this or whatever. But for me, like my personality is, I'm an extrovert and I could be an introvert at times as well too. So does that make sense, being an extrovert and an introvert at the same time,
It makes sense. It makes
Right.
sense.
And so yeah, and so then that basically just I had to figure some things out or whatever actually makes sense. And so long story that, for me bouncing back from my situation that happened, I met a group of guys at the gym, that was all getting to it. And so, when everybody has a partner or has a group, everybody is just like they stick with each other,
Yeah.
so like how I got back into my motivation is, how I gained my confidence and motivation back is, I met with these guys, and one of them wasn't a trainer, but was like a bodybuilder. One of them knew about nutrition. One of them was like just tag along with the workouts just cause, and I was just like, I guess the motivator, or someone that they needed that extra push. You know how with let's see, with NSYNC or Boys to Men, they have to have that one person that brings some certain type of role.
Yeah.
Like one bring the juice, one bring this, one bring the swag, one be like, ooh yeah.
That was you. That's what's up.
Right. And so yeah, man, that basically what it is though. But other than that, man, we was at the gym. We was like the Fantastic Four. Well, that's what folks, viewed us as the Fantastic Four. And so that's really gained my confidence. I started to get motivated because now I'm actually starting to see, some improvements, some results. And, when I, continue to stick with it, then that's when, folks are starting to realize that, okay, this guy's taking it serious. And so whatever. And so basically, when I post my first before and after transformation, it was like years ago. I have to go look for it, But then people say, "Wow, that's amazing transformation. That is amazing transformation." And so they was like, "Well, are you a trainer?" And I'm like, "Well, no, I'm not a trainer or whatever. I'm just someone that's just being consistent or whatever." But I do have a passion of, like I said again, helping people, motivating people, and that's still my passion to this day. And so after that, then somebody, said told me like, hey, listen, you should be a trainer. Do this and you can inspire folks, blah, blah, blah. And this is where I'm at today. And so
That's amazing. I am
yeah,
proud of you beyond words. I can't
yeah,
think right now who said this quote, but it pretty much just says that I'm not concerned that you fall. I'm concerned that you rise. And
yeah,
you definitely did that. I mean, you lost your basketball scholarship, you were in a dark place. And then you turned that around. You could have stayed there. You could have had a pity party. Well, me, but you didn't. You took
hmm,
that and you used that as fuel to set you up for success and to influence the lives of others. You went on to the personal training to gain your personal training certifications, but then you went above that.
yeah.
So share with us the different concentrations that you have because you've been busy these past 7 years. So talk to us about those different concentrations and how they've helped you be how they helped you with your the people that you train to really effectively make a difference and help them reach their health and fitness goals.
Well, concentration, it all starts with, you have to, separate yourselves from people. And what I mean by separate, isolate. You have to isolate yourself from different people. Like, for example, you have to isolate, like you have to be surround yourself with people that who wants to see you grow and shine and do more versus the people who will drag you down versus the people that add bad substance into your life. And of course, when you're in your 20s, you're not really looking at those things. You're looking about, what when you're in your 20s, what's the most thing you do? Turn up, right? You're all about turning up. And that's basically what it is.
True.
Yeah, you turn it up. And so like I had my fair share of turning up, had my fair share of going above and beyond. And I guess, when you're young, you feel like you're the man or the woman of the world or whatever. And so you can do what you want to do. But
Mhm.
then you have to also realize that there's rules and obligations that's out there. So you can't break those rules. And so you have to be mindful of those things. And so yeah, man. I think, for me, a lot of people say that, for my age or, while I was in my 20s, because now I'm in my 30s now. And so people say I have an old soul. And I'm like, okay, what do you mean? It's like, well, you think your mindset, you're thinking mature enough than most people around your age. And I was like, well, you have to because I have to because I haven't had anybody that actually can lecture me or well, my godfather is one person, but of course, I only seen him like once or twice a year, and he's been a father figure to me, and he actually knows my father too, by the way, and so I mean it's a long story, but he's been a father figure to me, but I only see him like once or twice a year, and so but whenever we do meet, it is thoughtful, it counts, and it impacts so much in my life and the things of how I view things different because he always challenges me. Okay, listen, you may not think about this right now, but once you get in your 30s and 40s, you're going to start to view things and differently and understand why I tell you these things. And he's right about that. Because of course, when you're giving lectures from OG to young school or young thug or whatever the word I'm looking for, young blood. That's the word I'm looking for. Then it's like it's not them to just to get on you or whatever, but they trying to lecture you things about life or whatever, give you street smart, so you're not out here looking lost. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and so but basically, besides that, I had to figure things out on my own, which is, of course, dealing with dealing with the law, and I'm getting and dealing with adversity from people, and just dealing with different situations that that keys that would destroy a person, especially a black person, and so once I start to view all those things or whatever, but then I'm like, okay, wow, I have to really make some adjustment and changes with my life. And it took me having a daughter that came in my life, you know for me to have for that to happen. And so now that I have to, like, okay, pause, I gotta figure this out. um this is something that I have to pump the brakes with, because now I have a child in this world, and I have something to live for. And
Yes.
so now that I have to make some better decisions, smarter decisions, and now for me, right from then to now, I think I'm doing all right. I think I'm in a way better situation and way better thought process than I was 5-6 years ago. And so
You are better than all right. Now,
yes.
let me brag on you a little. Let me just brag a little bit about the concentration that you have. So, nutrition, muscular strength, endurance, you got those from Body Design University. Um,
And NASM
and then
too. Yep.
also you have your NASM
Yeah.
certification.
NASM.
All those things, they're not average. Like all those things, all those concentrations, they're above average. I'm
Right.
myself, I can speak for myself and say that NASM is not easy. I
Yes.
I've had a year because I'm a health and fitness coach as well, and I've been on that for a year, and I have yet to get my certification. So that's no joke. So you are
Yeah.
doing better than all right. You are definitely doing amazing things, and you're impacting others. I love that this platform, because others that are out there, they get to hear your story. They see you out there every day doing what you need to do and making big moves, but now they get to see how it started. Now they get to see kind of
Right.
like the behind the scenes. So
Right.
share with us what keeps you going on the challenging days. What keeps you going? I know you said your daughter, which yes, our kids are definitely a big motivation. What else keeps you going on the challenging days when you're not seeing the results that you like, or you're not making the progress that you think you should be making?
Well, what motivates me is, of course, God. God.
Yes,
I mean, God. Because, when you feel at your lowest or weakest in life, you can always rely on him. Because
yes.
without him, you can't do nothing. But with him, there's nothing that you can't do.
That was my
So,
quote for today. We can do all things through Jesus Christ who strengthens
yeah.
us.
Yeah. So that's basically what it is, though. But always have your faith in the Lord, trust in him and process, even though if you believe in a higher powers or whatever, that's your choice. But for me, I know what motivates me the most is I just I have a tunnel vision. I have a focus, I have a plan. And for someone that's around my age or whatever, a lot of people say, you got your head on straight. Like, they're very surprised.
Yes,
I may not be in the best situation in the world, but at the end of the day, I know that I'm in the right direction and perfection. And so only thing they have to do is just keep it going, just keep pushing. You gotta keep pushing. Gotta keep pushing, man. That's why I always come out with, like phrases. And I'm not sure if you ever pay attention to my phrases, but here's one of my phrases I have right now. So basically, this says the laboratory for body recreation is with the period. So you got number one, well, A, gym, B, hospital, and doctors. And I have this because at the end of the day, you're responsible for what you do with your body. Don't let the doctors or hospitals tell you what you aren't, because that's how you feel limited. And for me, I've never been the type of person to be limited. I always go above and beyond. And sometimes, that may overshadows people or may rub people the wrong way because they can't think out of the box or can't think like me. But at the end of the day, I'm just never been this simple person to just be stuck or just try to fit the trend. I'm the one that's always setting the bar high.
Yes.
And so that's just basically, for me, the only thing I could do is just be me, be different, and I don't care if folks like me or don't like me, but you will respect me and my work. And that's the way that I always go about. So,
Yes, your work ethic. You definitely show up every day in excellence. You do your training sessions, you can see excellence written all over your training sessions. So talk
right.
to us. What can we expect if when we attend, 'cause I will be attending, and those that are watching, what can we expect when we attend one of your training classes, one of your fitness classes, whether it's a Stone Mountain or another park or awesome location in the Atlanta area?
Well, expect to break a sweat. That's for one. It's expect to break a sweat. Also, come prepared with a high positive vibes and be ready to work. That's basically what it is. I'm gonna challenge you in every area. I'm gonna challenge you physically, mentally, emotionally, but most importantly, it's all love at the end of the day. Because even though the way my method may come off as tough love, but at the end of the day, sometimes tough love is what we need. We need
Yes.
somebody to keep it real with us versus somebody that's beating around the bush, and so it is.
You got that right. Now you've been doing personal training and these group fitness classes for 7 years now. Can you share with us some of the highlights, some of the transformation stories that you're like, wow, whether it's your own
Yeah.
or others?
Yes, and so like throughout my career of me being a personal trainer, I've had a lot of success stories. For one, I helped this lady. She was I helped a lot of diabetic people in the past. That I helped two women get off of insulin. I mean, they were still labeled diabetic, but they had to use that anymore. The only thing they had to do, of course, make some adjustments with their diet. That's basically what it is. And so for me to get them off of insulin is it's a blessing in disguise for me. And every day that I'll always, tell myself like, sometimes I'm just, for me, I guess I'm satisfied, but I'm always unsatisfied because I feel like there's a lot of things I have to prove. And, basically while we on this live, I list like all my qualifications and things I've accomplished in my life. And yes, I did accomplish a lot of things in my life. I did. It's just that, for me, that, I guess when you want it, you feel like you want it and you want to keep pushing and you want to you feel like you can do more and do better. That's that kind of attitude that I have. And so
Yeah,
I feel like overstepping the boundaries, if
yeah,
that makes sense right there. And
that
so,
makes perfect sense.
yes. And so that's basically what it is though. And so yeah, man, those, whenever I train people, everybody knows that okay, yes, Cashe is definitely direct. I have a direct personality, and I've had folks that tell me otherwise as well too. Like for instance, recently folks may say that well, some people were negative people, we're gonna say, but may say I may come off as arrogant. Now, what is arrogant to you?
Confidence. They confuse it. Confidence can be confused with arrogance. I don't see arrogance in you at all. You are
Mm-hmm.
very humble. So
Yeah.
definitely, I see a confident personal trainer, coach, mighty man, definitely not arrogant.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I'm on Mighty Man Mondays. Yippee!
I
Yeah.
love it. I love your sense of humor. You get You get the tough love, and then you get the sense of humor as
You
well.
know what? And you know what, man? These are the things that I always share to people all the time, and that's what people know me as. Be also being a tough love trainer, tough personality, but also full with joy, man. And so that's what people who really know me actually get to know me versus just going off of what you see on social media. Because at the end of the day, man, social media is our platform. It's our platform. But at the end of the day, some of us, some people don't get to be themselves on social media, and a lot of them have to put on. And I've never been the type of person to actually put on for anybody. If I live in a crack house, but I still, make money and all that stuff, I'm not afraid to express that, you know, even though I don't live in a crack house, but but I'm not ashamed of that or whatever, because at the end of the day, you have to get to that point that you don't care. You at the level that you don't care what people thinks or view as you, but as know that you got God on your side, and He know what you are and what your judgments is. That's all. That's the only thing that matters.
Yes,
And
and it's all
so,
yes.
yeah,
And it's part of your journey. And
yeah,
I love it. Like this is what you get with Coach Cashe. I'm not going to put up a front. This is what you get. It's part of your
right,
journey. And your journey is inspiring others. Every part of it. The good, the bad, the challenges, the highs, the lows, everything is inspiring others. There's so many people out there that are looking at you and watching you, and on a day-to-day basis, they're inspired by your journey. So,
yes.
in closing, share with us some words of encouragement for our friends that are watching that need the encouragement. Maybe they have a dream and they're scared to go for it, or maybe they have a health and fitness goal that they want to reach. Maybe they made a New Year's resolution and already and already it was gone. They weren't able to reach it.
Right.
January 18th, and already they messed up. Whatever it is, there's so many friends out there that need encouragement. So, what words of encouragement can you share with us?
Be consistent. Be consistent. You have to be consistent, because if you aren't consistent, how you expect people to take you serious? How you expect people to view you as, this person? Like, so for example, if you have a goal in life, if you want to get to if you want to accomplish something in your life, you have to take a lot of steps to get to that point. So, for example, knowledge is power, right? Knowledge is power. So if you don't have the
Yes,
knowledge, how you expect to have the power?
exactly.
Yeah. One of my phrases that I was gonna add on a shirt, because like for me, I have a lot of catchphrase for my shirts and hoodies, as you can see. Like the ones you seen the health of a luxury? Yeah.
Yes.
Now what does health of a luxury what does that mean to you right there?
It means that there's millionaires and billionaires out there that would give all the money they have to have their health. So our health is truly our wealth. That's what that means to me.
Yeah. And yeah, so your health is important. It's a major factor, especially that it should be a huge major factor in our black community as well too. So a lot of us, we still have, we have to get that through our mindset. But once we get, it starts with here, because especially if you're an African American, you have to have knowledge, because if you have knowledge, then that's when you have power. And then once how you expect to have power if you're not making black dollars? Make sense?
Hmm.
So what that means is, think of it this way. What you think of this quote: manifest black ownership and power. What does that mean to you?
To own it, to speak it into existence, to make it
Yes,
happen.
right. That would be my next quote on my shirt.
Coach Cache is interviewing me. I love
Yeah, and so
it.
yes, 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 and so, and my phrases, and on my gears and everything, it speaks volume. And if that's a way that I can express myself to get people's viewers and attention, then that's the way I would go. Like some folks, they operate different, but that's just one of my ways of doing it. Because at the end of the day, if you view me just like how you view me as this big influencer, entrepreneur and business owner, and someone that's very smart and they got their head together, you're gonna view me as serious. Now you didn't know that I was funny at one point till we got on this live. You're like, okay, this man's about his ish. He's handsome. MCM. Nah, I'm kidding, but probably so.
What is it? Man Crush Monday, ladies.
Yeah. I gotta be careful because my lady's watching. But yeah, man. But at the end of the day, though, man, it's just like the thing is, I want to be able to motivate the people the best way I can. So the best advice that I can give to people is just be yourself, be consistent, be ambitious. Because once you first you have a knowledge, then that's how you're going. Once you have knowledge, then that's how you're going to build your power. That's how you're going to build yourself as a person, being consistent. You have to be consistent. So you know what I mean, for example, if you are working on a goal like your weight loss goal and you feel like you have some distractions or something that's setting you back, you got to find a way, a sense of urgency to bring yourself out of that. That means get yourself out of the darkness. And that's what I did years ago of what I was going through in my time in my life as well, to bring yourself out of the darkness. um I was actually watching a film earlier this morning. It's a 3-hour documentary called Out of Darkness. And basically Out of Darkness is something that and I've always watched these films that's not really out there because I feel like these are information that we should know, but we've been misinformed. And so I've always been a critical thinker to really just to enhance my higher learning of knowledge. And so Out of Darkness, a documentary that's pretty much, it's something to deal with, our African ancestors, culture of how can we rise. And I think that's a great documentary to watch as well too, especially if you want to dig deep more with the Black and African American community and everything. And it's very, very helpful and all of that. Like, it blew my mind, honestly. It blew my mind. And so, and I think that you should watch it as well too. It's available on Prime videos. And so
Okay,
yeah. But
definitely.
yeah, but that's basically it is. You just got to stay consistent. You got to find a way, stay consistent, and eliminate all the distractions that's going to bring you down. Surround yourself by people who's willing to bless you and the people who's not going to stress you. So
I like that. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
yes,
I
your life
love it.
matters.
Your advice goes hand in hand with what we see and what we can expect from you every time, every week you show up. You're consistent. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you
Yes,
for being on Mighty Man Monday.
you're
It was such
welcome.
a joy to interview you, and like you said, I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Thank you for bringing the sense of humor, making the
Yes,
show a little bit more,
right,
a little bit. It's not your typical just I ask you, you answer.
right,
It
right.
kind of added some flavor to Mighty
Yeah,
Man Monday. So thank
it was
you.
organic.
Yes.
Yeah,
Friends, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in every Monday. Thank you for sharing. So many of you are sharing. So many of you are telling others about the show. Shout out to Keon. I had interviewed him a couple Mondays ago, and he's been sending people my way. Hey, you need to be on the Lina show. And so
yeah,
thank you all for what you do. Thank you all
yeah.
for your support.
Thank you.
Cashe's friends as well. Thank you for supporting him. Thank you for showing up every week to his trainings and continue to show up. For those that have never attended one of his training sessions, I will share his information so that you can reach out to him and you can get to one of his classes. You will love it. So,
Yeah, come get this work. Come get this work.
all right, friends. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.